Really, Infernal just needs to take this one slow. Oh, what a play. Check this out, guys. Flank Dynamite plus Brig Bash Pincer. That is disgusting. Okay, there's not enough teams, so basically you have the top tier contenders teams playing versus Overwatch League teams for a qualifier because there's not enough of the teams. And so therefore you've got top tier Korean talent, which is obviously awesome. So this is super cute. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right, this composition is designed to control long sight lines. Okay, and this is something that you occasionally see on Nepal Sanctum just because it is the longest sightline map in the game, and because it is so wide open and really just honestly there aren't a lot of flanks available, you can get away with compositions like this. Now the reason why Orisa is run is because Orisa is really quite good in two different ways. She's really quite good at anti-dive early spam pressure without bleeding a lot of ult charge. And the second reason why she's really good is if you were ever to want to force a brawl after you get an advantage, you can do so with Orisa easier than you can with a tank like Sigma. For example, Sigma gets better range pressure, but is more vulnerable to dive, and he has a harder time actually pushing. Orisa doesn't spam nearly as well as Sigma, but she can not only demand fewer resources and be less vulnerable to the actual dive, but she can also push forward. Now, Orisa does a lot of the same things that Ramatra does, okay? The main difference is that Orisa has more range pressure, more consistent range pressure at least, whereas Ramatra was looking to transition to Nemesis at some point. And then there's also just the simple utility of having Javelin, where Javelin is a really good way of disrupting dives immediately after the cooldowns are being used. Now that being said, I'm not gonna lie to you, freaking Orisa is weird. She's not a very strong hero. There's reasons why you would play her, but she's not a very strong hero. So this is unusual here. The Tracer is to control a flank so that you don't get completely turbo stomped by an enemy Sombra Tracer, Ball, Winston, Diva, and so on. If you were not to run it, you will almost always see a fragile backline with a hit scan and Tracer, because the Tracer is what contests the enemy Tracer or contests one of the flanks so that you just don't immediately die to a Sombra Tracer dive immediately. She is the necessary evil to allow these compositions to be able to survive. Okay? Genji is freaking weird on this map. He's not terrible on this map, but it's not at all the first thing that I would expect on this particular point. This composition is very similar in theory to these. The main difference is, bye, drive safe. The main difference is that this composition is not spammy enough as this one. This is, we're cranking the dial pretty spammy versus your dive comp. This is, hey boy, spam, right? You're cranking it all the way to spam heavy, right? And so what's funny is that both of these guys might have anticipated the other team to play a dive variant, and neither of the team is rolling out on dive. Okay, so it's interesting. It's interesting. This comp will need to try and push at some point or choke out these guys here, because if this composition is able to take this area here, they're going to get such nasty spam angles that it's going to be absolute misery.
On that Tracer, let's see how they do fare.
Now, do you see what O2 Blast is doing? They're not trying to brute force. They're setting up their dive by setting up a two-man flank. You've got Genji and Lucio wrapping around on the right side. That's going to force Zest out. Once Zest is out, they now have a free path on the backline. This is really good. You'll see Hanzo set up here. You'll see Ramatra and Ana hold the angle here, and then you'll see Genji and Lucio wrap around behind. Now, what the Seoul needs to do is they need to get skewed and Zest to be able to take and win this 2v2 with Genji Lucio. Okay?
Already a little bit of battle commencing off onto that left side. Flank is Agus once more going to be bringing forward this Orisa.
And that's what you see. Do you see? There's skewed. There's Zest controlling the 2v2. So this becomes more of a skill matchup. Huge headshot from the Zen, and that's it. Yes! Yes, very nicely done from Seoul Infernal. Brilliant. And now they can hard commit, but they're hard committing into a multiple crossfire. So even if MN3 dies here, Seoul should be able to trade this back. There it is. Oh, I guess as well, the environmental kills from Orisa is definitely something that I didn't really think about, but there is a lot of opportunity for Javelin spin and Javelin to get good value in that neutral trade. Not something that we would think a lot about, but those little tiny details could be the difference between playing Orisa or playing Ramattra. And you can kind of see it there, right? There's a little bit of the jab there, right? Where they force deflect, they force the Winston bubble. Yes, they use the Nemesis form, but that's okay. There's the blade. I think Infernal, oh my gosh. Infernal, I was going to say, is happy to lose this if they need to. There's the blade. I think he just gets shot. I think Top Dragon just gets headshot. There it is. Yeah, you see it? He just gets headshot. So this is crazy. Kitsune Blade. Honestly, pretty bad from O2 last year. Because you see what's happening? They mess up their timing. They go for it. They get baited. There's deflect. There's bubble. Probably didn't need bubble. So then they Kitsune rush. But we still don't have bubble. And Marvel's still low. So then Top Dragon goes in, but he can't go in because he's low. And because his Winston's not in. So O2 really fumbles the bag in terms of this dive timing here. I mean, that was really, really quite bad from them. If they were able to jump in with bubble there, totally different story. Hey, Zutter. So nice shots from Seoul, from MN3, but really just horrible team play from O2 there. Very important that you get that timing correct, otherwise your Genji literally can't go in. Nice marking over here. He's probably going to die here. Oh, no, he's not. Phenomenal peel from Infernal. Good job marking the Tracer. Damage on the Tracer is the most important thing you can get there. He's going to die, maybe? He punishes the overextension. Yeah, Seoul really, just really ruins O2 blasts. Like, their timing of their pressure. Even if you look at this here, for example, they get the Tracer in first. He shoots the Tracer, forces the Tracer Kyrie to back, and then the Primal comes in. If Tracer clips now, nobody shoots Tracer, right? And so O2 is like in these micro mid-fight dives, their timing is just a teeny bit off, which is making it really easy for Infernal to kind of sequentially deal with this target, and then that target, and then this target, and then that target. I think Seoul should just win this. Sombra won't have time to set up in backline. If you guys watch my YouTube video on Sombra May, you'll know that in this matchup, Sombra would be setting up a deep off angle on backline. I don't know that it's necessary on this map because there is more space in this map. I like the Symmetra opener as well. It also means that your Symmetra doesn't just TP, but you can actually engage in the fight, right? So I imagine O2 probably either kites this quickly or dies immediately.
It's just going to be off again for the Reinhardt. Classic pick for him.
I'm surprised Infernal is not playing this one more aggressively there. They really should be. That's a little bit inexcusable that Infernal's ought to get away from that, considering the massive advantage that they have. That's no Western team lets that happen on their watch. 4v5, Symmetra May. Great wall opportunity, unforgivable. And the problem now is that while you've overextended, you've not actually secured the kill. Now the Sombra setting up a deep off angle, and so then now as the fight evolves and opens up, the Sombra's going to be doing a lot more than the Symmetra, and that's exactly what you see here. Probe baits MN3 out into the open, gets sniped down, GG's. You've also created some distance for the Ramattra to get some early pressure, where he's going to be able to just outvalue the Reinhardt, right? So, pretty terrible execution from Infernal there. Really nice little bit of kiting from O2 Blast. It's exactly what they needed to do there to win this one out. Surely they win this one out, chat. Surely. Nice. Nice. What do you think about the Ana with Ram over Bap with Ram? It's more of a stylistic choice. One of the advantages of the Ana over Ram is that if they do something stupid like this, for example, if they were to run like dive, you would prefer the Ana for a better self-peel. I know it sounds weird to say that, but it's not just the self-peel, it's also the self-punish and the better ult than BAP window. But the other thing too is if they do something like this, then the Ana is really, really, really nice because there's a lot of little high grounds and a lot of little flanks where you can actually set up nades that in most Brawl mirrors that you're not able to set up. Is it better? I don't know. It's just a flavor difference and there's logic behind it. So, how do Infernal play this? We might see something cheeky here versus this Blizzard. Be prepared.
Annihilation not going to stay alive there, but Top Dragon can maybe finish the same strat.
What?
Despite the Annihilation not going to stay alive there, but Top Dragon can maybe finish it.
So a bit of a mistake there. They go for the TP, Fixa boops Probe out of the TP, and Probe just freaking dies. Way too early, way too close to the Reinhardt. You know what's actually funny?
Despite the Annihilation not going to stay alive there.
Okay, this is it. Why does Probe do this? Can you guys guess as to what Probe does this? Why Probe does this? I think I figured it out.
Kept alive. He was frozen despite the nano, despite the annihilation. Not going to stay alive there. But top
It's let's put it this way: less of a feed by Probe, more of a carry by Mag. Right, PDF origami. Yes, he didn't know Mag was there. Mag is hiding. He doesn't know Mag is there. He's probably TPing for some scouting information.
Dragon
And freaking dies.
The same strat like
That's crazy.
early, but Probe's dead. They have to TP on the point and play for the Blizzard. But
Wow.
Probe is dead, and they've out of time.
So they Blizzard. The Lucio is going to get caught. That's a big misplay from Fixa. Mag dies, but honestly, not the end of the world if that happens. Really huge misplay by Fixa there. Really inexcusable that he gets caught in that, and they're going to literally lose because Fixa gets caught. That's disastrous. Infernal goes into that fight, and really, if they want to push there, they probably, first off, probably didn't need to push there, to be honest with you guys. They could have waited this one out, but they choose to push, maybe to bait the ult with their Ryan May, but Fixa just freaking dies. That's a huge misplay by Fixa. That's actually really unfortunate. Okay, let's keep going.
Might be regretting that one, but let's see if that momentum carries forward now for O2 Blast as the gates open up. And
okay, so Brig Zen, Ashe, Tracer, Doom, Sombra Pharmacy opener. So let's talk a little bit about these compositions. So there's a lot of potential reasons why they go this composition. One reason is that Brawl, right? Obviously, like, this is, you know, good versus Reinhardt. Infernal might have had a reputation for playing something brawly on this particular point. The other thing is that Pharmacy isn't actually that bad versus Brig Zen. The reason why is that Pharah is an oppressive DPS if you're not able to rotate away from her. Okay, so if she's able to sit on your head, she can really ruin your day. And if you look at this comp, okay, yeah, they got Zen, yeah, they got Brawl, yeah, they got Tracer, and Ashe. They've got some quote-unquote Sombra counters or Pharmacy counters, but they have a relatively slow backline. Which means that if you're able to get Pharmacy over Brig Zen, especially in Overwatch 2 days without the Matrix, it's pretty dangerous for the Brig Zen. So I don't know if this is something that Seoul Infernal thinks is a counter comp, but I don't think they do. I think this could be O2 Blast opening here. This could be a comp that you would open versus a normal dive comp. This could be definitely something that Infernal just enjoy playing because APAC freaking loves Brig Zen. We've already reviewed this when we were reviewing Why Ball last week, right? This is something similar that they were playing on, it's like almost exactly what they were playing on Blizzard World, right? The Sombra, same sort of thing. I don't like the Sombra as much in this comp. I would much prefer the Tracer, but I think that this composition as a whole isn't countered by this comp. I think we might see some swaps. We might see a Tracer swap. Retaking with Pharmacy into this is going to be miserable. That's the one weakness of this composition, and to a lesser extent this composition, is really whatever team loses the fight because they don't have a Lucio, coming back in and rotating in is going to feel really bad. So I wouldn't be surprised to see swaps if either team loses this first fight. Okay, let's check here.
Marvel over onto the Doom.
But you can kind of see the problem with the Brig Zen right here, right? If Pharmacy is able to stuff here, this could be a big problem. Now, is that MN3 out?
So I don't know if Infernal were expecting a different compositional matchup. I personally was not expecting the Doom at all. Doom is not a good hero at the moment.
They need to get over MN3. MN3 is a priority to get on top of. Now, MN3 is ridiculous at this game, so you never know. Ball, by the way, one weakness of this composition, and this is why I like the Tracer, I think Sombra should be absolutely bullied by Ball Tracer. They might go for the Ana, but I think Sombra should have a really hard time versus the Ball Tracer. Should never have a translocator that's just not instantly destroyed. A little bit of a hyperbole there, but you guys get the idea. Not good far play from Top Dragon. These rockets need to hit. And I also think that if you either need to quickly dive. So look at it this way. If this is Yazin, okay, you're gonna conk across from here to here and immediately two-shot this guy. I don't care if he gets Briggs in pocket, he's dead. Or you let the Ashe take the angle here and you play on this side of the point and just murder the Briggs in instead, or just make the Ashe do something more aggressive than playing the open sidelines, right? So it's good play by MN3, but this is not good far off from Top Dragon. Like, these rockets need to hit. If you're going to force this rotation, then you need to be hitting the shots. And he doesn't hit the shots. Because the problem is that if for Brig Zen, even if they hold this sightline on the map, they don't have very good sightlines on point. So I'm not a fan of the execution here. And like I said, the real problem is we might actually have to see a swap from O2 Blast at this point in time. Once the Ashe gets the sightlines, once she sets her feet, there it is. Right now you've just lost first fight, and not just one swap, but we're probably going to see this hero is going to swap, this hero is going to swap. I mean, I don't know, maybe a Lucio. We might see Winston Lucio here. But it's going to be hard into a Brig Zen that now has map control. It's tough.
Really pushing the issue here.
Hey, Konica, I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear it.
The kill, and that's Infernal once again with the initial lockdown.
See what Marvel goes to. I don't know who'll stay on the
Winston? Opener surely swaps.
Now Opener's the only
There it
one
is,
left to
yeah.
swap, and he's going to go over towards the Lucio.
So then now Contenders O2 Blast needs to try and rotate and get on top of the Brig Zen or Ashe, or isolate either Ball Tracer with hacks. Because the problem is this backline has to play very safe. Not safe, but a little bit shorter, longer sightlines. So you don't necessarily have to dive them to get value. You can isolate and kill Zest, because if Zest gets a little bit zesty and breaks LOS with his supports, you can't isolate and kill him, and he won't get help. Not generally what you see on an open map like this, but yeah. Pretty deep dive. They're going to counter push. You're going to see Seoul walking forward to punish that use of Winston bubble. Will they get a punish? They won't. O2 Blast does get the rotation off. Love to see it. There's the punish. Notice how aggressively Zest and Mag are playing. They're trying to stop O2 from getting under their backline. Trying to hit him in the mouth, hit him in the mouth, hit him on range, hit him in the mouth.
Shut down, switch. Nice. Recipient of it, nice and early.
There's a sleep dart. Will Brig Zen be able to walk forward to punish? I want to see more aggression from Skew and Fix at this point in time. They don't quite get it. Really nice little bit of rotational work from O2 Blast. And Probe is I don't know what Probe is on up to at this moment. I'm assuming distracting backline. Because that's always the tricky part. Do you distract backline or do you peel off ball? Do you control the Ashe? What do you do here? It's really hard for me to see exactly what's going on my screen here, but
if they had the hack as well,
there's a dive. They're able to close the distance, full HP. Really unfortunate nano, but honestly, it's really not even that bad. Really nice little bit of rotational work from O2 Blast. They basically, let me see if I can get a good frame here. So they basically go here to here, disengage, here to here, disengage, and you notice that they're kind of like running around the map, and Brig Zen are trying to keep their distance and rotate away, but they're not able to rotate fast enough, and eventually they're able to close the distance, get on top of them. And then once you get on top of them, they're cooked. And crucially, they get on top of them. Look at when Skewed dies, or MN3 dies, right? Not quite support ults. And it's really important that you win a fight before they get support ults, because if they get support ults this fight, they lose this fight as well, and in their last fight territory, disaster. But now they have support ults, but O2 Blast has map control. O2 Blast also has their own ultimates to deal with their ultimates as well. What is the reason to Ashe instead of a Tracer Sombra? Open sightlines and hero preference. That's all. So if Seoul were to swap Sombra at some point, it would be totally fine. Be a good comp. Good comp. Just preference on the open sightlines of the map. And also, he's an elite tier Ashe. See a solo EMP in the Brig who's playing very positioned. Okay, this is what we want to see. So, you guys want to talk about EMP play. One of the lowest hanging fruits when it comes to EMP play is when you are playing into an EMP as a Sombra Tracer team or a Ball Tracer team, cunt locator. Probe is going to be on backline looking for your backline. So he will be positioned very aggressively and very punishable. You also don't have a lot of ults to play around, so you need to try something a little bit maverick, okay? So this is something that really every flanker team should be looking for most of the time, at least at a very low level understanding of the comp. They have EMP. We don't really have much to go for it. Let's go hunt Sombras. Because this is a very scary situation for Probe right now. Very. What am I going to release the already play viewer?
So avoiding the spy checking.
And there it is. He gets spy checked. He's in trouble. He's out. And then at that very moment, Infernal takes the trade. And so now we see a 4 versus 5 with Mines and Primal, but EMP is not on the table. And not only is EMP not on the table, but Probe is out of the fight. Love to see it. Well done, Infernal. Look at that. They don't even get the EMP they want. They never even got the EMP that they wanted. Now, they do hit both DPS, which is really nice. So maybe, but yeah. Well done. Coming close to a mirror here. People are playing a lot of Hanzo because longer sightlines here. Again, it's one of those situations where you could justify running Sombra here as well, quite easily. But a lot of the APAC teams do prefer the Hanzo because of the players that they have. So, it's also that like metas tend to be a little bit inbred as well, so opinions of what's a better composition will be shifted by the players that you have, but it also will be shifted because the teams that you're playing versus think that so-and-so is better. I mean, what was it? Albert, I mean, this is, I'm going to show you guys a really funny tweet. Gator said something about like, people are just evil, man, or something like that. No context, you know, like, wonder what's going on. But he posted this, and then Albert says, saying this as you guys have gaslit half the West into running Sombra May comps. I actually kind of like that. I think that's pretty funny. Because that's exactly the kind of thing that you talk about. Like, you guys talk about, like, what's the advanced strategy behind Philly playing this composition? A lot of the time there is advanced strategy, but there's always at least a microdose of this is just what's good. You know, like, this is just what teams are playing, right? So teams will just kind of play a little bit of flippity-flop, maybe play a little bit of this, play a little bit of that. This is what's good. And so there's always a little bit of bias that's not always completely objective, right? Do you know why Mag might want to play D.Va on first? Yeah, so let's talk about this. So I am of the opinion that I would prefer the Winston on first. But there's the two things that the D.Va does really, really well. And one of these things is very uniquely powerful in King's Row. Can you guys think of what those things are? So let's just think about, ignore King's Row. Think about the matchup. What does D.Va do in the matchup better than Winston? You guys who've been sitting in my analysis at this point should know by now. Before we talk about King's Row specifically, what does D.Va do in the matchup better than Winston? Peel, sure. DM, sure. Mark, yeah. Eats nade, sure. Yeah, I mean, your backline's in a more fragile position, so you're able to rotate a little bit easier. In marking tracer, enabling ranger, yeah. So there's a lot more accessibility when it comes to like clearing their tracer, easier with D.Va. A lot more with making these rotations from like point A or to point B or point X. I love that I say that as I write X and Y, right? You guys gonna rotate, we might see a backline rotation up the stairs, so we prefer matrix there instead of having to commit our bubble, right? We might be an easier time contesting and clearing Hanzo, right, as a D.Va. Something that I think D.Va has a hit or miss relationship with Sombra, but versus Hanzo, pretty good. At least when not dealing with ultimate. Now, the real reason why I think Infernal are running the D.Va is not because of all those reasons, because for every reason that we can think of why D.Va is good, I can come up with a reason why I think Winston is just as good, if not better, even on attack. The real reason why I think they are running D.Va is I think that Infernal's plan is at some point to rotate their team to a powerful position and leverage point. And that is something that D.Va does objectively better than almost any other tank in the entire game. In addition to that, it's very powerful on first point King's Row. Yes, black strategy, yes. Winston cannot touch point without getting his bubble forced. And that is a big problem. He is very squishy. So he needs to be diving onto people, but if you want to leverage high grounds and just control point, D.Va is a trillion times better at sitting, absorbing point, and not dying. So my guess is that Infernal, at least in theory, wants to try and leverage point. That's what I would think. Now, that means that I don't think they'll play D.Va past first point. I would be surprised. They might play it, but I would be surprised.
Guess so.
Especially once ults start to come online, I think D.Va is significantly worse. They get Zest in the head.
It's going to give it to MN3.
I'm looking very carefully at this backline, y'all. I think we might see that backline rotation that we talked about. We do. They get all the way around behind. Mag marks point. Therefore, also forces bubble. Oh my gosh, what a nade. He jukes it. Well done, MN3. And there it is. We have backline has completed the rotation. So they are now up top. We have, I think, MN3 taking an aggressive angle above point. And then Mag goes point. Really nicely done.
Out looking to clip MN3. He will be able to avoid that.
You guys see that?
Dropping back down.
D.Va does that.
Ground, Mag in the meantime.
I don't know what happens to Zest, but Zest
I didn't even
just
see
freaking dies.
Get that melee hit. Zest just
And so now they have to reset.
absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
And with that pick,
Animation
that
cancel
backline
just
threat is now
instant.
gone, and that was nasty stuff from him.
Well, the problem with D.Va is it's like you can control more space. You can control more frontline space easily as D.Va. But as soon as dives start happening, D.Va's just a lot worse.
This is one of the better tracer plays that we have in the league.
Freaking dies,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I expect.
He's a real freaking dyer, that one. You know what I'm saying? The guy just freaking dies. He's got to really work on it. So then they go Winston. So yeah, I mean that I 100% was why Infernal was doing that. You even notice that he doesn't stay past D.Va after the first fight, because if it doesn't work, he needs to get off of D.Va so he doesn't start wasting ult charge, because he's going to go to Winston. Okay, that's my guess. I think it's an educated one, and you know, honestly, that's as good as I can guess. Clear the Winston. Now they need to clear the Tracer. Can they clear the Tracer? Will they clear the Tracer? How will they clear the Tracer? I want to see where Mag goes. Yeah, so you notice Mag is not going to point now. He's going to high ground, right? He can tuck into here, actually set up and stage dives, and if they can get rid of this freaking Tracer, then Mag's not going to take any damage from out there.
Should really be ahead of Irony here. Usually attacking side Ana has the advantage, but with Marvel surviving, Irony getting the
Zest keeps getting his donker knocked. I don't really know what that means.
Now drain down as Mag joins back over here into the opening choke. Very slow going.
Yeah, very slow going. They're doing a good job. Like O2 Blast is doing a really nice job, like messing up Zest. Like credit to O2 Blast. They're doing a great job controlling these angles, right? They're not letting Infernal take off the space. Oh, that's a nice little dive there. Fixa kind of goofs. So I want you guys to watch this really carefully. Very, very interesting here.
Back up, and that does give Irony the first nano, so skewed.
You're gonna see a nano on Monkey, and now this is where I'm going to use the replay viewer without using a replay viewer. Okay, I want you guys to bear with me. I'm completely guessing.
Staying back up, and that does give Irony the first nano, so skewed. 16% or so behind. The nano already gonna be opened back up, and that does give Irony the first nano, so skewed.
I was gonna guess that we use bubble. It forces sleep and whip shot. So then Marvel says, right? Because sleep dart and whip shot are the main reasons why you need your bubble when you have nano, right? But they also nade it. You guys see the nade here? But he gets whip shot. So I don't know. I mean, if you look at that, if Opener doesn't troll the lobby, which he does, look at this. He hits the whip, obviously, and then bashes into the Winston. No, that was really bad. That was really bad. Not Opener. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Fixa trolling the lobby. That was beyond dumb. Bashing into the Nano Monkey after you hit the whip shot. That is a bonker. That is an upsies. That is an oh-no-ner.
I think that's a huge pulse bomb as well.
Yeah, that was not. My boy thought it was Overwatch 1. Yeah, that was questionable. And that's a really cheap fight win, right? Really cheap fight win. So we're 2 minutes in now. They're gonna see Nano on the Winston, potentially on the Mag at some point.
Like to have this primal more ready than 70%.
There's the aggression. He gets slept. Not the end of the world. There's probably not going to be a lot of punish. There is going to be a lot of punish. I didn't realize the Hanzo was there. There's the primal. And he might get punished for this, guys. Fixa overextends again. So he gets slapped. And they're going to be able to pretty easily force primal here. But the question is why on earth is Fixa... So I'm trying to see what's going on here.
Which means by the time he's ready to go with the nano, you'd like
Fixa ends up on statue. Please replay viewer. Okay, so Fixa is here, and Ana is here. So then Marvel flanked, and Fixa is there, I guess, to you have an easier time packing. Okay, and to maybe hit a whip. So then they sleep the monkey, and then they primal. But Fixa doesn't give up space. Fixa freaking falls and then freaking dies. Even though there's a primal in his backline, Fixa just stands here and then falls off and dies. So Fixa, and Fixa rallies?
Talking about very much he's there and he's going to use it. In fact, cross Fixa fire and he just...
Alright, which one of y'all was paying off Fixa?
As you say, it's a cancel on the rally to make
Which one of y'all was paying him off? I want to know. I won't tell anybody, just tell me who it was. Worst case scenario, tell your mama, that's about it.
I mean, they got it just
questionable.
Finally, they have all the ultimates they need, minus a rally, which just got burned down there.
And the big problem here is that like that was your window to push, but now you're waiting for freaking Fixa, and you have to start all over again setting up your angles. And these guys have ultimates. This guy's gonna have an ultimate too soon.
Blast are pretty much out of ult, so it's just.
So now you just might just have to try to GG roll. Oh no, that's crazy, bro. Now you just have to like GG roll and like nano primal and just hope that something happens. Oh, huge kill on Top Dragon. Top Dragon really fumbles the bag. What even happens? Top Dragon is up top. Oh, Top Dragon gets shot by MN3, tries to greet his recall, then dies.
Little push, but no, that shot, it just hurts. At least it's traded.
So what happens here? Still very winnable. Very easy to pull this one off. I mean, they have so many ultimates, so surely. There's the rally. Oh my gosh, Fixa. My man is fixing the matches. The man, he's not even close. He's just over there.
Oh, he sends out the dragon strike. He gets Fixa.
Where's the nano? Where's the nano?
Taken down.
What is going on, man?
Why does they sustain? Mag getting lower and lower. Dragon strike from MN3.
There's a nano, but it's pretty late. They catch Probe overextending though. Yeah, Probe way. Dude, these APAC hit scans have zero chill, man. They're like, oh, you know, let's just go. I think now's a good time to go. I hear Nano Monkey. I think we go now. Yeah, that was silly from Probe. And then that's gonna be the cap. Fixa now sitting on like 12 deaths, and they also nano. Wait, what is going on, y'all? Oh my gosh, what is going on with this game? What? 1, 2, 3, and then nano a rally? Nano a brig? Bro, the brig doesn't even have anybody to swing on. This isn't even possibly swingable. Bro, y'all are baiting me, man. Actually, you know what? First round was pretty good. I like the first round.
Not the payload. The cap itself hasn't been starting to cap.
All right, I'm not impressed so far. This has been which team is going to throw harder. This hasn't been good Overwatch. Even the first couple of deaths from Infernal, Zest just freaking dies to error twice in a row.
Should have burned the nano there because you want the nano for the retake. That's
Man. Good contest from Mag. I like Mag. I think Mag's a good player. I really like Mag. Mag, I think, is the best APAC tank that I've seen so far. I haven't watched a lot of APAC games, but I've been impressed whenever I watch APAC play. What is going on my screen? So there's the recontest. This is like the classic APAC hit scan. Watch it, guys. Watch it. I'm sorry. This guys, if you guys anyone want to clip like APAC in a nutshell, right? Just clip this. We've got a Hanzo on an angle, and I want you guys just to watch MN3 in slow motion. Woo! He's in, man. Let's go. Like that is. That's APAC hit scan in a nutshell. Got a good angle? Nah. W. In we go. Oh my gosh. And then he's gonna die for that. But yeah, I think they pulled this out, right? Surely? Maybe. Oh no, wait, what? Oh my gosh. This is something else, y'all.
This fight's gonna come down to
early dragon. That's gonna force a bit of a rotation, and it's gonna force an early rally. I think the dragon's probably okay as it was. I think maybe being a little bit more patient there would have been better. There's the rally. Is that in response to Nano Monkey? No, they just rally. So they need to get pressure off of this rally now before they nano, and they don't, and Fixa freaking dies again. Okay, so what's happening off screen is we Dragon a little early before they really needed to. So then it's kited by O2 Blast, who rallies, to be fair, but probably didn't even need to rally. So then they jump in, and Fixa immediately jumps, but I don't know why. Because Marvel doesn't jump deep. He jumps the point. So then we need... I don't know why he rallies. I don't know why Fixa rallies. There's no threat here. There's nano on board very soon. It would have been much better to chill and then pop rally a little bit later and actually push, or to counter the nano. So Fixa rallies, but then not only does he rally, he looks like he goes in aggressively on probe. He is in. Fixa is in, ladies and gentlemen. Fixa is in, which makes no sense, but considering that they're also rallying and that they have nano. So I wish I could see what Fixa saw. Maybe I don't want to see what Fixa sees. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's just as well that we live on in ignorance, because Fixa freaking dies. Because he goes in and he gets stunned by opener and freaking dies. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Fixa is completely trolling the lobby. Mag's playing well. I think Scoot's playing pretty well. Zest, a few unnecessary deaths, pops off at the end. Same thing with MN3. They're doing a great job pocketing MN3 when he's going off. He's definitely a feeder. MN3 is a hard feeder. You pocket him or he dies. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Feast or famine there. A lot of DPS players in League are like that. But you know, it's Pine-esque vibes, but you know, it's working quite well. I really think that you got to look at this fight and be like, why have we committed nano primal and we can't get a single kill when they don't have nano or rally to peel? That's like super questionable from O2 Blast. The Tracer goes in a little bit early, the Pulse misses, and then Marvel's not able to finish the juggle. And because Top Dragon has recalled out, the follow-up damage on MN3 isn't there. Huge beef from O2 Blast. A lot of their ultimates have been really bad, and as badly as Seoul have fumbled some of their support ultimates, O2 Blast has done none better. I think Mag, I've been very impressed by Mag from what I've seen of him on Winston and what I've seen on Brawl. Even his Ryan looked a little pretty decent from the little bit that we saw. Feel the need to make a case for Fixa? Well, here's the thing. Everybody has bad maps. So, you know, Fixa looked horrible this map. But it's a map. Who knows?
Clearly one of his best heroes, if not his best. Something that has to be respected from the
so, really just a hero preference thing. Obviously, you don't necessarily win the duel with the Hanzo all the time, but you do get a lot of consistent pressure onto Winston, and you do get a lot of consistent threat onto the backline as they're rotating, and your ultimate is significantly better. I don't think we'll see MN3 stay on Ashe past first point, because second point feels a little bit awkward for Ashe, and I think third point Hanzo is better because of how long the sightlines are, but the Ashe is a cute little opener.
Fire. Dragon strike from MN3. Looks to create some space.
There's a dive off of the Dragon. Really nice job. Would have liked to have seen Probe on the high, but yeah, he gets punished.
Enough damage for Mag to be able to jump forward and find Probe. Opening kill going the way of the Seoul Infernals. They look to hold the line here right in front of B.
O2 Blast reset, so they're going to wait for Probe to respawn, which means 40 seconds remaining. Likely the last fight here. Skewed slept, but not going to be any advantage that O2 Blast can really jump upon, as you like to see them get a similar kill to what MN3 and Mag got together with the Dragon Strain combo.
Tracer wrapping behind, he's thinking pole spawn. They get the punish on Tracer for overextending. I think O2 Blast as a whole is definitely behind the curve. Fix has trolled a lot of fights, but there's been a lot of fights where O2 Blast has not been synced on their dives on the first map, and they've not been synced on their dives on the second map. That's been the biggest takeaway for me. I think you could argue that MN3's had more pop-off moments as well. Maybe Skewed has looked a little bit more comfortable on the Ana as well. Mag a little bit more comfortable on the Monkey. But the biggest thing for me from a macro perspective is it feels like Infernal, whenever they dive, are a lot more on the same timing, on the same page. And I think that's making their dives look a lot better as a result.
Juggling around Probe. Zest comes in for the alley-oop. They get the further elimination. Healing. Pulse pump needs to go big. Or else this could just be it. The touch, is it there? The answer.
Yeah, that's it. So pretty dominating performance from Infernal there, despite Fix's wild shenanigans, and to a lesser extent MN3. Just the better dive team. The better dive team. Better dive timing, better dive cohesion, all on the same page, all that kind of stuff. Infernal, with the Ramatra May Sombra stuff, this is a you go Brawl, we cheese the lobby here. I don't like the Sombra and the Brawl mirror on this map very much, unless you're Lip. I think the hit scan is just the better hero on this map with the amount of open sightlines, and MN3 is a phenomenal hit scan. So I'm going to cut Infernal some slack and assume that they're expecting O2 Blast to come out on a sniper comp, or maybe something like this, where the Sombra could be actually pretty useful versus the squishy backline. So let's see what happens.
Okay, well, Probe seems like he's got a pretty damn good idea of where MN3 is, and actually gets him, I think, with just a straight shot blind.
Wow.
Pretty damn good idea of where MN3
So this is how you break this choke, by the way. And then I think also Tracer's wrapping around behind her is already engaged, right? So, yeah.
And actually gets him, I think, with just a straight shot blind.
Yeah, Tracer's all the way in their backline. Yeah, this is good for Mo2.
Then follows up, finds Skewed, and that is one hell of a way to break the forward hold. I think some heroics now from the remaining members of the Infernal to front sides of this one. Immortality Field is going to be melted down, and then, yeah.
Historically, Eastern teams, oh wow, are not as skilled at the Brawl. So I'm curious to see how Seoul performs.
Yeah, I mean, you typically expect
that was a great pincer, very well timed. They go dive. Oh boy. Honestly, Brawl is just better on this map. If you can play Ryan Brawl or Ramattra or Lucio Brawl and just take a bunch of fights on cart and use your ults well, this comp doesn't stand a chance. Not in the current meta right now. Ramattra ult's too good, Beat's too good, EMP too good, Blizzard way too good. You could just run, rotate the point, die on point. Run, rotate a point, die on point, and waste so much time. Yeah, I mean, this. Okay, here's the thing. This is the counter comp for this, right? But it doesn't play the map very smart because you're missing the Lucio, and Hanzo's Tracer. These heroes are just kind of better, right? The reason why you want Brawl on this map is because there's a lot of tight rotations that you could do to stop and die on point, and the nature of Escort means that if you have a Brawl comp that fights on point, you get 3 fights. This comp is not going to get 3 fights. This comp is going to get 1 more fight on this point, and then that's it. And I don't think they're going to win it because the space for this comp is way too much. It's way too big. So this is a very, very risky move. High risk, high reward. If you come in here and you win this next fight, you set up a really nice dive in the backline and you get the kill, and maybe you farm EMP, then you will full hold them on first point. If it doesn't work, you could really see a snowball that could last for quite a long time until maybe late second. Good trying the pulse. The pulse whiffs. This is why I'm scared of this comp with an on high. They miraculously live this. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Rally is popped. Not a good rally from Irony. It's way too early. And really not good positioning from Skewed here at all. Skewed should not be here. Skewed should have already rotated out to the opposite high ground window, and in pocket, even just that rotation alone would have been an easy fight win. It looks like he goes for a nade, and they just completely lose focus on what's going on. Poor rotation from Infernal. Mag's gonna commit the primal just to try and stall this out. They did get a pick as well, so him playing his life there. Zest dies, they almost get the kill on Probe, not quite. And that is, despite the odds, miraculously going to be a cap from some of the most cacophonous collection of errors that I have ever seen. Fix is gonna go for the hero play. Mag gets the Mega, but gets marked by Tracer. The hack on opener is there, the nade is there. Will they get the kill? They will. They're not able to stun the ult though because he doesn't have bash. Look at that, guys. If he'd bash this, I think they win this. But he's not able to bash it in time. He bashes late. He's dead. Wow. That's crazy, y'all. I mean, I think this comp is pretty meh on this patch. It's pretty bad in this patch. On current patch, this makes a lot more sense. But on versus this comp, it's okay. As soon as this hero goes like a hit scan, though, this comp is dead in the water. Wait a second. Does MN3 actually swap to Sombra when he dies on Ashe? I'm curious. Yeah, see, this is a mistake. This is a big mistake. He should not. Sombra is worse versus this. I thought he went this for a quick touch to recontest, but he doesn't. He goes to because he thinks it counters it. He's wrong. It doesn't. Sombra is not very good versus this composition. Very easy to force. Shout, Brig, Lucio, Sojourn. No. Sombra is not very good. This is a poor swap from MN3. Should have stayed. Ashe. Even with a limited space that he had there, would have been a lot more. A lot more. A lot of micro errors there from Infernal to allow that one to happen. They're gonna go Ramattra. Ramattra the counter to the Queen. I think it's fine. I like Infernal's comp.
Going to be the Ram Brawl, and I respect this a lot. Probe's also going to go over towards the Ashe now.
Okay, the Mei I like as well. Feels like just going to be a better Brawl composition. The rally is going to be a bit of a problem though, and this is last fight, so that really Infernal just needs to take this one slow. Oh, what a play. Check this out, guys. Flank Dynamite plus Brig Bash Pincer. That is disgusting. Oh my gosh. Did you guys see that? Wait, he doesn't even flank Dynamite. The Dynamite comes through the door with a flank Brig. So, let's talk about Soldier. Let's talk about the Soldier, ladies and gentlemen, because I've seen the Soldier much maligned because of its poor execution by a few teams in the West. And the idea of the Soldier is this. You're just putting out consistent ranged pressure. And because you're running it with a Queen who's a little bit more self-sufficient, you can put more of your Kiriko resources into the off-angle and consistent pressure. So the question is why do you run Sojourn and not Soldier? And the answer is just it's more consistent range pressure. Sojourn in the olden days, when she farmed a faster rail, when she heard M1 was better, would have competed for Soldier and probably completely removed him and you would never see Soldier. Now you have something that can be pocketed by Kiriko, put out some pretty reasonable damage, and as long as it has Kiriko help, he doesn't necessarily fold the Soldier Tracer. Now, what we've seen from a lot of the Western teams playing it is inability to take angles or flanks, no creativity whatsoever with the positioning, and not getting enough support when they do take angles or flanks. I assume that O2 Blast is not going to make that mistake. Do I think Soldier is good? No, I do not think Soldier is good. Do I think Soldier is decent enough to try for a team that maybe doesn't have a Sombra player, especially a team that wants to run a Junker Queen and doesn't need Kiriko support on their tank all the time? Yes, I think it's worth a shot. No, the heal pad is almost totally irrelevant at the OWL level. At least in terms of survival versus dive. It does not give him any significant survivability versus anything that Infernal will throw. It's instead the legs and being able to take the angles, and the Kiriko being able to pocket him. For example, here, he's not even necessarily taking an angle, but he is taking a deep sight line. If he gets immediately dove, he gets Suzu'd and he lives, right? The problem with the first fight here is it's unlikely that MN3 the Infernal as a whole will have good deep flanks to set up on Probe. I mean, you see this, guys, right? You see this. On first fight, the enemy flankers aren't going to have deep angles that are going to punish you for running a Soldier, right? They're not going to have time. Nobody has time. So what the Soldier is in a lot of ways is a cheat way to win first fight off of this, and then after that, to be able to take a longer sightlines where you can get pocket. Yes, this is cute. I mean, you look at it. Look at how much pressure Mag is under, right? Bam, 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 right? And you dive him, he gets Suzu'd, and he lives. And that buys a lot of space. So then now we see a flank. Again, you see the pressure never relents. Pressure never relents. You can't let it relent. If Infernal sets up the angles, then the Soldier dies. You cannot let him relent. The only thing that Probe needs to watch out for is nade and Winston jump. But again, that's what Suzu's for. So
ripping apart enemy Winston, so
he's moving back and forth. There's a TikTok. He's trying to be a little bit unpredictable. Huge knife from Marvel. Watch this. So knife from Marvel right there. There's the jump. I'm not even sure what he's jumped. Probably the high ground to control. He gets yanked right back down. That's going to force a bubble. You can healing station just to hold space. More pressure. More neutral trade. Really, really, really nicely done.
Control this out of O2 Blast. See if they can get it moving though. As Cess continues to play forward. And then 3 down low.
Soldier deepens the angle, more pressure. Infernal has been under a lot of pressure early in the fight. Again, another huge knife. And this knife will force another not deep dive, because if he dives deep, he gets knifed. He also pulled out the open as a result of the knife, taking a lot of damage from the soldier. I assume knife. Okay, this is so confusing with the Junker Queen knife. Knife here, knife here. Knife gets hacked and dies on the flank. Now that is one thing that you can do. If you can't set up in the soldier fast enough, abuse your 2v1 flanker advantage, which is exactly what happens. So really well done by Infernal there. Jagged blade, I don't care, I call it knife. Knifey! You can't change my mind. Okay, and then Fix It freaking dies. What the heck is Fix It freaking doing? Why is my Brigitte getting freaking axed at the Overwatch League? This should just never happen. You have a shield bash and a whip shot. Please. This is just ridiculous. It's a good shout. There's a lot of pressure. Marvel doing a great job playing around his cooldowns. Look at that discipline, right? He knives and immediately turns around and runs. Oh, that's unfortunate. You notice, by the way, the first person to die once an ultimate comes online is Probe. That's gonna happen. You might see Probe swap here. Mag just clutches it out. Yeah, Probe does swap. But yeah. No way this is going back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. No way.
He went down to 14 HP, but Knife does finish the job and stays alive.
Basically, you're gonna have O2 Blast looking to brute force more. Okay, we talk a lot about angles. You're not going to win angles with this comp. Not versus this, not versus this. So what you're gonna do is maybe you have your Tracer off soft contest their Tracer from an angle or something like that, but you're gonna try and brute force and just ruin Mag's day. You don't necessarily have to run at Mag. You can also run at MN3. You can run at Zest. Really, all you do is you group up around Robot. You try and do what we call are the jabs. You don't necessarily have to hard commit like a Lucy or Rush comp all the way necessarily, but you need to be doing at least short jabs to try and keep Soul Infernal on their toes. Because if Soul Infernal are like a plague, if you give them time and resources to slowly set up around you, set up the perfect day, the Sombra's on the backline, the Tracer is 2v1 your Tracer with a Kiriko and cleared her back to her team, now you're getting stifled and you're choking, you're gonna die. If this comp gets any time to set up angles and flanks, this comp will die. So they need to punch. They need to punch. They need to punch and they need to punch hard. They need to repeatedly be pushing after Zest, repeatedly be pushing after Mag. And even then, this comp is objectively better at this level, but these guys might be really, really good at this comp. And maybe MN3, not the best Sombra. Maybe Fixa, not the best Kiriko. Right? We don't really know.
Skewed finding that early gives Mag the confidence to walk forward even into a Junker Queen. And now the EMP has to be the winner here for him.
So you see this, right? You see how hard they're pushing out on Mag. Get rid of Mag. Get rid of this. Do not let these guys settle and dive us. Punch them, punch them, punch them, punch them.
Rough around the edges there on Havana.
And this is the danger, though. This is the danger. Do you see what happens while they're punching? Irony gets hacked, and they bypass the core and attack the backline. This is what this comp is really good at. The way to beat Reaper as Monkey, or just dive in general, is to run away from the Reaper. That's exactly what they're doing. That's going to force Suzu, it's going to force Shout, it's going to force TP. So now all they need to do is survive. That's not a good EMP. You can't do this. You can't do this. Cooldowns have been used. Kitsune Rush has been used as well. You can't do this. This is a terrible EMP from M3. Okay, so EMP does not cancel Kitsune Rush. I understand that that's very inconsistent, but it doesn't work. You can't do it. In addition to that,
Rough around the edges there on Havana.
they've just used Shout. They're all full HP, and your Monkey is in no position to hard commit on a squishy. They do hit the nade, but it's not good enough. This is just not going to work. This is an extremely high risk, medium reward, because at best, maybe you solo EMP and kill the Reaper. At worst, you lose this entire fight easily. Really, at this point in time, Infernal's best bet is to just peace out. Completely disengage. Give up another 10, 15 meters. It doesn't matter. They've used this. They've used their cooldowns. Reset up, go in with your ultimates, you're fine. I don't think you can commit the ult here.
Irony to try to stay alive through this one. Goes across, manages to catch on the 3.
They get the stick onto the queen. Monstrous. They're card committing. This could really go either way. Zest gets caught without. Beat goes. Ah, it's such an ugly fight, man. The beat is really nice though, because it is the advantage of being able to stay on the hero that you opened up with. O2 is able to. O2's not able to clutch it out. Wow. Okay, so Marvel goes monkey. Now they're on the full rush comp now, which I think is good here. There's the anti-dive. Marvel should just melt, and he's dead. It's just not good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how does this composition beat this composition? You tell me. Because what O2 does is completely wrong. Yes. Yes. You do not reach your Reaper Tracer. No. You rotate as a unit quickly through here and force them to drop and dive from this range here. You do not do this. Even without EMP, Mag is freaking dead. Freaking dead, ladies and gentlemen. No, that will never work. Never.
Backing away, but the aggression comes in from Mag, forces him.
You need to get your Moira involved, and now we're committing our Cole down.
In the meantime, gone.
Oh my days!
Well.
What is my screen?
Irony hacks, however, out of it, and yeah, has to just go ahead.
Oh my days!
Alive. Mag up over the top, runs back in here onto the bot. Pulse bomb for an opening. Zest lets his.
See, this is where I have questions on Zest and MN3, because this is where, like, without the replay viewer, it's really hard to see. But Marvel's dead, okay? Cole has been used, but Opener is hacked and naded. They finish the kill. So you're up 2. Why is nothing else dying on my screen? You guys kind of see what I'm saying? Something should be pressured, some cooldown should be forced, and it's not happening. The pulse misses, the Nano Monkey comes in. They get the trade. Okay, it ends up working out. Okay. The cleanup has been very messy in these fights. A lot of turns and lost fights, which is probably encouraging these teams to commit ults in these lost fights, but it's more of a commentary on how these fights have been cleaned up rather than whether it's the idea of the fight itself that's flawed, right? Okay,
Rush coming online for Fixer. They can still rotate through a lot of
a little better execution here from O2. They're able to rotate underneath. Now, yeah, they're just not able to do it.
Right back into it, just not allowing.
I think the only way, this is just an ugly, this is why we don't love the Reaper, right? It's too easy to just bypass the Reaper's value. There's the Kitsune, but Zest just freaking dies.
Try to shift this out of this push position. Down barrier going to be dropped in.
And he just dies. He doesn't even get a chance to recall or utilize his blinks. He just dies.
Down barrier into it, just not allowing O2 to try to shift this out of this push position.
Also, I don't really love the level of aggression from Seoul. They commit a lot of cooldowns in, but remember, this team has Beat and this team has Reaper. So you could just kind of chill, play your open space. Honestly, Seoul doesn't even, like, okay, let me ask you guys a question. If you're watching the Atlanta Reign play this fight right now, how did Atlanta Reign take this fight? Think about it. Think about the map, think about the ult situation, think about the matchup, think about everything, and tell me how they take this matchup. Because we've seen this exact same circumstance many times. What would the Mayhem do? What would the Glads do? What would Outlaws do? Right. 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 Exactly, Gregor. They would sit high with their Ana Kiriko, they'd build EMP, and they'd dare them to push. The answer is, this is what they would do. They'd do nothing. They'd sit there on a high, you have lead, you have high ground, you'd have your Sombra on an off angle here, maybe your Kiriko here, or even your Kiriko with the Ana, Tracer marks card, and Winston just chills. And you just farm EMP, and you spam 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 and you spam. It is on these guys to actually make a move. They are significantly far behind, but not only that, they also have the freaking the Reaper comp that can't do anything until they push high. And we've already seen how that happens. They push high, you Kitsune rush on the high ground, and you blow them up. If they want to try and beat on engage on the high ground, well, that's going to be really hard because it's going to cost you your TP, a Tracer flank, a Winston jump from main, a Lucio speed that will eventually get to top, and the TP plus Suzu into the middle of them. Also lip kills 5. So there's no reason for them to force a dive back here as Infernal when you have high ground, lead, and you're building EMP.
Also came through from Seoul Infernal.
Should they go on the staircase O2 Blast? Yes. So what O2 Blast needs to do is they probably need to rotate to our far right up the staircase, but even that is extremely risky. It's something that they have to do, but it's ugly. Let's put it that way. It's ugly. You could also have them rotate underneath here and then go from staircase behind. You guys see what I'm saying? Like go from here and then wrap around from behind. That would probably be the more consistent variation, but all of those things take time and make them make the first move. Instead, Seoul forces a really deep dive, an aggressive dive into a beat with a Kitsune, when with a Kitsune versus a beat, all you need to do is just survive and just put pressure out, and Zest just freaking dies. There has been many times in this match where we have seen someone just dies. Without a cooldown used, they just die. No recall, no transcator, no TP, no nothing, and so Seoul gives up a significant map control advantage for nothing.
EMP now coming online. It's quick to swaps over towards the
and now we're gonna get staggered.
Much better versus the dive. You respect it. A couple of free push, but they're 50 meters behind roughly. They're still about, I would say.
And now the Ana gets to go Brig. Ana Kiriko goes Brig.
Esperanca is close in terms of cap distance.
So, marking on the angles, Brig should win these with Ana. Well, actually, Kiriko can help as well, so it could really go either way. Notice that Lucio is helping the Tracer duel. It's not a good EMP, guys. It's not a good EMP. It's a really, really bad EMP. These Admin 3 EMPs have been terrible. What is he trying to do with this EMP? You guys should know this by now.
Now M3 should be able to clear.
Right? He's going for Tracer. Right. One tap on Tracer is a really, really important and a really, really powerful way of getting value out of your EMPs. Right? But he whiffed. He whiffed. So he hits the Kiriko behind him, but he doesn't, they're not even going for the Kiriko, and the Kiriko ultimate doesn't even matter. It doesn't do anything. And so then we're going to see a lot of ultimates committed from O2, from Infernal, but the Infernal misses their burst window. And once again, now we're fighting inside of a Kitsune rush with, you know, this has been wasted and whiffed, this got whiffed, and then now we're just going to Primal Rage in the air versus a Kitsune'd Reaper. Not going to work, ladies and gentlemen. Not going to work. So not only should this be a stalemate, but that very easily could have been a ugly fight loss for Infernal. I'm surprised that they didn't lose anybody there. Right, their backline might not have been set up there either, but it doesn't matter. There was no follow-up possible off of that EMP unless you bursted the Reaper, but he wasn't going for the Reaper, he was going for the Tracer. And he just missed. Trying to stop Cap. There's the Nano. Can they force Wraith? They don't. Really nice disengage from O2 Blast, I think. Or does Opener get caught? Opener gets caught. Wow. Marvel gets slept. Messy from both sides. Backline trades. One hack hits. That's it. Marvel needs to get out. Marvel does get out. They force a or the Wraith. They will be able to get that kill. And Seoul's able to turn it. Bit of a goof up from O2 there, but nice little recontest. Okay. There's the Junker Queen swap back, and this is in a response to this, going from Kiriko to Brig. And it might also be that this guy just doesn't think the Winston's working either. Yeah, hard to say. Now,
This time I think with a
Once again, we're in a situation where really Infernal doesn't need to do anything. They just need to, they need to do this. They need to do this. This is what we want to see. Look at that. Shout. Honestly, I don't even think the Winston needed to drop there. Suzu, Shout, all sorts of ugly stuff. Looks like an amp as well. Pulse doesn't hit. And the problem with a Pulse not hitting is for whatever reason, Zest goes in really hard, misses the Pulse, and then also costs his recall, which means that he should be able to stay here and mark card, but he can't now because he doesn't have his recall. So again, Zest has been struggling this map.
Speaking of knife, has the Pulse pop?
So do you see how like far they've been able to progress the robot? I think that's a big mistake here. Okay, let's keep going. That being said, at least Infernal are taking this one a little bit slower. So yeah, you see like how slowly. Okay, there's the rally. Oh no, Fix. Oh man, Fix is just feeding, man. We're going full circle indeed. Fixa drops in by himself. Even with Rally, you want Bubble here. If you go in with Bubble and Nade here, this is a fight win immediately. But Fixa goes in freaking by himself. Like, just completely by himself. I don't even know where Mag is. There's zero rush here. There's zero rush. Fixa just freaking feeds. Ah, guys, this is ugly. This is really ugly. I think you can absolutely brawl in this choke if you drop Bubble, Nade, Rally. Like, you can one-shot any of these guys, even before they get the Kitsune off. It's a gamble, but at least it's an educated gamble, right? This is just Fixa freaking feeding, guys. I think, yeah, exactly. At least Fixa never spends a lot of time. And then now we have the Kitsune in response, and now that's probably going to force Infernal out. I'd be surprised if they EMP this. They might EMP. Oh, actually, they have Nano Problem. They might EMP this. Oh man, guys. This is uglier than I am. So we drop Rally, Kiriko, Winston's out, then we EMP. Skew tries to follow up, but he's not able to actually aim his nade, and so he misses everybody. Then MN3 dies. Oh, this is the world's worst dive timing. Oh my gosh. Please don't primal. Please don't primal. They commit beat even, which honestly wasn't needed. Just ugly dive timing from Infernal. Very poor.
In OT, and there will be a touch here. Lead won't be regained just yet. Sound barrier, like you say, is going to be the key ultimate.
Pulse from Zest. At the ready, skewed still 35% away from the Nano, the bot.
This is smart. This is what Seoul Infernal should have done ages ago. Contest cart, build Nano, fish. O2 needs to do the same, but they need to do it with the knives on Winston to try and pull Mag out to force Bubble, and then if they see the opportunity to, they can absolutely push in with beat, look for MN3 or look for Mag. Let's see what happens.
Moved into a pushing position, but it's 10 meters left to go, and they have to open this up. Zest slinking his way around the back is noted. Irony, spotting him out.
Good peel from Lucio. It looks like Mag got pulled there, right there, and I think that's going to force his Bubble. That will allow Nano. Knife doesn't hit the pulse. They lose high ground. There's the beat engage. That's a little... I think they pull that off of them. They get Mag low, and then they beat engage. There's the Nano in response. They're not able to get onto MN... Or they do get onto MN3 as predicted. MN3 dies. MN3 really needed to be able to coach gun back to high ground. He doesn't get the high ground. He sits on the floor. Not the best from there. We should have been able to track that one. Nice trade from Mag to punish the Sojourn slide. Zest is able to stall cart and survive. He... Oh my gosh, Fixa. Fixa hits a huge knife on a knife, whip shot on a knife. Marvel with a monstrous ult onto Zest. Fight-winning ult. And now it's going to be up to Mag. Can Mag survive? Fixa cannot die. Fixa cannot die. Fixa almost died there. Huge dive. He's just going to primal to hold cart.
stay close. He needs to make sure that this is still being contested.
Forest swap. Can he survive?
The kill not yet going to be found.
Probe is 1 HP and dies with ult. There's the rally. No way, guys. No way, guys. No way. No way they lose this. No way they lose this. Zest hit a rocket challenge. Oh no, guys. They have to kill the queen. One rocket. He misses. He misses again. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my gosh, and he dies. That's freaking oh no. How, man?
5 meters shy, the cleanup comes through. OT will bleed away, and O2 will take us the distance.
We got a real game on our hands here, fellas. This is the O2 Blast squad.
Let's go, man.
That has been cooked up. That is looking for number 30.
Oh no. Yeah, Pharah is a good swap in those circumstances. Just in case you guys are interested, Pharah is a good swap because in these OT circumstances, people are distracted and one rocket ends things. It's not even that hard. One rocket ends things. Pharah is a very common swap in OT circumstances. You could also get back really, really fast. Oh my days, like we just needed some sort of aggression there to like actually land. That's tragic. Okay. So there's a Junker Queen anti-Winston, the Sojourn Winston. I actually like Seoul's comp into this because it's like saying, oh, you want to play anti-dive? Well, that's okay. We have a Hanzo. So, you know, screw you with your little Sojourn like garbage. So I think Seoul's at a reasonable comp to play here.
Take them out with relative ease. We'll see if it goes their way as it has in the past.
They will be able to control high ground O2 Blast because of the Queen and the Lucio speed. So basically what Seoul wants to do is leverage point, force somebody to drop the point, either Queen or Mei, and then take angles from there. Like Onabrik can get from here, Trisha can get from here, Winston can control high. Now, like now do you see that the Queen has dropped? So now Hanzo and Winston can take that high ground away, and that's exactly what happens. So a bit of a mistake from O2 Blast. I think it would have been better to have like their Mei drop first, and be more attentive to like this is a great punish for Mag, right? Mag is able to take that high, and just they're slowly losing pace. Now this is cool though. Cute little flank there from Knife. He actually causes a lot of pressure, forces Winston bubble in the chaos. I don't know if it was indirectly or directly. There's a nice knife from Marvel. Mag just sits there and takes it. I love the little shenanigans that we're seeing from some of the DPS players from O2. It's a shame that Knife dies. It's a big nade from high ground, and this is kind of like this is the Coliseum, right? Where if there's too many angles taken by the dive team, you're just gonna die in point. Like the Ana has high, the Hanzo's high, the Winston's on high. And that's kind of what happens. They're able to get first cap, but they're just able to whittle them down. So nice execution from Seoul for the most part there.
Might just be Soundberry though, going to be used aggressively. They want to take the fight. They want to win this right here.
Oh, crucial error here from the Seoul Infernal here. So they end up using the nade aggressively, but they're not in a position to be able to kite out the beat rush. O2 is able to pull the trigger on them and close the distance quickly. And the crucial mistake from Skewed here is he hits the sleep, but instead of giving respect, he overstays his welcome. And not only does he, I think his nade actually gets Suzu'd, but he needs to survive here, and he doesn't survive. It's a good juke there, but it doesn't matter. That's tragic. Absolutely tragic from Infernal. Infernal have to ult track that better and play that one better. It's the second fight in a row, along with the Reaper Death Blossom, when Infernal need to do lose cons, right? Where it's like the idea is that, like, okay, we're at an advantage here, but we know what they have, and we know what they're going to do with it. We have to play around that. They waste the ult track when they play like that. Really, really tough support play from Infernal, that fight there. Okay. Last fight. O2 Blast wins this by probably Kitsune rushing the high ground, or Kitsune rushing main, and rushing high ground with Sojourn Lucio. That would be my recommendation, or maybe even Tracer. You could have like Kiri, Junker Queen on main, and then 3-man probably catch MN3. MN3 probably dies, or even catch the BAP. Like, there's no way they should win this fight. And then if you need to, you could probably use this or use this. I think O2 Blast is going to kick themselves if they don't win this one, which, you know. There's a Kitsune on main. Do they take high? They don't. They sit on the floor. Oh, man. There's your match nerves. There's just no way that Infernal should be allowed to stay top. Do you see how they're all hiding? It's too easy to hide. It's too easy to hide. There's the high ground push, but it's too late. Now it's too late. And it's also desynced, and he's not supported. They get the kill in May. The Blizzard goes off. There's an ugly trade. There's suffering. Mag is like absolutely sweating. He keeps the suffering alive. Aw, disaster.
And despite their best efforts, the Seoul Infernal will be
man.
O2 Blast, they will stop their 31.
That is disaster. Poor guys. Yeah, so good game. Very enjoyable to watch. Very, very enjoyable to watch. I don't know if they got Rampage off. Yeah, sure. Fixa definitely played poorly. Mag definitely played well. MN3 just played like MN3. Had some great pop-off moments. Fed a couple of times. That's just what you're going to get with MN3. Zest was a little bit quiet. I don't think his Tracer play was quite as good, but it wasn't bad. It was serviceable. I think O2 Blast looks solid. I think the synchronicity, whether that's through match nerves or just through not being quite as good of a team, was by far their biggest factor. And then obviously, I think Infernal made some. The one thing I gotta say about MN3 is the Sombra just wasn't it. The Sombra just wasn't it.
Upset. Watch Mag reaction.
Look at this. Look at this guy. I mean, this man's back has to ache. That is Mag like actually dragging his team to victory there. I mean, didn't play quite as well the last round, but honestly, Mag played really well this match. I think who got player of the match here? If MN3 gets it, I'm gonna be upset. Who got player of the match? Ah.